Caulfield, and welcome to Shout. I am joined today by Jack Hume. Say hello, mate. Hello. Right, yeah, it's a very special show, because we only have one guest. As you know, Jack's here, and the reason we only have one guest is because people that were going to be on the show got called away last second. We can't really blame them for that. Besides, me and Jack can rant about anything, as we can tell you from our science classes. So today, with the lack of guests, we are going to have to do in a bit of a weird form. Normally we have 20 minutes, 5 minutes intro and 5 minutes outro. Today, because of this, we have half an hour.
Oh.
That's 10 minutes more than we normally would have. But we still have the intro and the outro and all that jazz. So today I will be talking about freedom. And Jack, you'll be talking about?
I was going to do best boss battles, but I might combine it with some others.
Yes, fair enough. He's going to be talking... I reckon we could probably shorten that down to gaming in general.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Just gaming in general. Now, since we only have two of us, it's not going to be too difficult to pick who goes first. So Jack, would you like to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Why not?
So you're going first, I assume that I'll take your silence as a yes.
Oh yeah.
And of course I will time as always. I will get my super mega timey thing of timiness, and the online stopwatch basically. And then I will let you go on your merry little way explaining your gaming knowledge, and we shall all be wondrously amazed. Oh yes. We will also be doing of course, what have we learned at the end of the show.
Which will be very little.
No. I think bearing in mind the amount that we talk, we'll be fine. And I've picked stopwatch instead of timer. That was clever, wasn't it?
Yes, well done.
3-0. And I also tried typing in the number when there were quite clearly buttons. Technical difficulties. Right. So whenever you are ready, I'll give you a 3-second countdown. Then half an hour will begin. So 3, 2, 1.
Right. So let's start with the topic of the most alliteration, which is best boss battles. For the few who don't know, and I sincerely hope I'm preaching to the converted here, a boss battle is a point in the game where you have to face a particularly difficult enemy in order to progress through the game. And usually there's a certain way you have to beat him, which these days is usually limited to finding obvious weak spot, mash attack button.
Yeah, the big yellow glowing kill me light.
Yeah, or eyes in the Zelda.
Yeah.
But occasionally you'll come across a boss battle, but you can't help but fall in love with it. Whether it's an ingenious mechanic, or stunning graphics, awesome music, or simply an incredibly climactic moment in the story, these fights really set the benchmark for all the future games you're going to play. You just want to keep replaying the game over and over just for that one moment in the game. First one I'm going to go through is, it's an old one from one of my favourite Sonic games of all time, Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Okay.
If you're confused by the title, it's basically Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Sonic and Knuckles combined to form the full version of Sonic 3. Now, if you played the game, you're probably thinking he's going to pull a Doomsday. And you'd be close, but you're not quite there. And again, if you haven't played or heard of the game, the Doomsday Zone was the final level of Sonic's story, because you could play as Sonic and/or Knuckles.
I always preferred Knuckles, because he had knuckles.
He did.
He could climb walls by punching them. I mean, come on.
Yeah. You find one wrestler who can do that.
Anyway,
yes. If you haven't played or heard of the game... Well, I've lost myself. Oh, here I am.
There you go. Technical difficulties.
Right, the Doomsday Zone was Sonic's final level, and it actually marked the first ever Super Sonic boss fight, which you have in basically every Sonic game now. Apart from Sonic Colors for some reason. Anyway, during the fight, you're chasing Eggman, or Robotnik, as he was known back in the days of the Genesis, back in his awesome period. He's traveling through space, just take the Master Emerald back from him while dodging asteroids and missiles and all that crap. And it is a pretty damn good fight, but there is another boss in the game which I find more enjoyable. But I am going to, since there are probably people here who, well, watching, who don't know
listening,
about
mate,
the game.
Listening, you can't watch audio.
Well, whatever.
Continue.
Technical. Anyway, I'm going to have to explain a bit of backstory first. Long story short, the second to last level in Sonic's story is called Sky Sanctuary, and it had a boss called Mecha Sonic. Don't confuse him with Metal Sonic. This guy's the improved version. And all the way throughout the level, he keeps trying to halt your progress by bringing in Eggman's old boss robots, including the old Ball and Chain from the first game. And at the end, he just goes, "Screw this, I'll kill him myself," and just fight you without an Eggmobile. And he acts a little like Sonic, and no duh, Sherlock. And he just starts spin dashing, bouncing across the screen, all that crap. And he wasn't particularly challenging compared to other fights in the series, but once he was beaten, you never actually saw him explode, which I'll come back to in just a minute. As the title of the game suggests, you can also play as Knuckles, and his story was essentially the hard mode of the game. Partly because he couldn't jump as high as Sonic, don't know why, and also because several bosses in his story were made just a little more difficult, like just a few more attacks, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Stuff escapes me. I haven't played it in a week.
It's alright, I haven't played it since I was... Jesus Christ. Since I was young enough...
Jesus Christ, yes.
Since I was Jesus Christ, yes. I am the reincarnation of Jesus Christ.
As we all know.
I'm getting word from the producer that he grew up playing it.
Indeed. Anyway.
Continue.
Yeah.
Or have you lost where you were?
No,
I'll give you a clue. You're in the middle of talking about Metal Sonic and Mecha Sonic, and I can't remember which one is which, because I am a Philistine. Or Philistine, or however it's pronounced.
Basically, in the 10th level of the game, which is called Lava Reef, but you don't get a boss fight as Knuckles. You just go through the edge of the screen, and then you go straight to the next level, which is called Hidden Palace. And it's literally 10 seconds long, this level. You go right a bit, jump into a warp thing, and you're back in Sky Sanctuary, and you're like, whoa, that was disturbingly easy. A second later, the Eggman robot, who's been taking the place of Eggman during Knuckles' story, slowly approaches from the side of the screen with what looks like a pretty basic robot with a simple claw attached to the bottom. I think, jump into him to win, I guess. Unfortunately, Knuckles can't jump as high as Sonic, so you can't actually hit him. So you're just helpless to stop him from grabbing you. Then he just takes you to the other side of the screen, and like, you're just spamming every button on the controller. I mean, just takes you over the next screen to reveal none other than Mecha Sonic. That's Mecha, just to confirm. And, that's the final boss of Knuckles' story. Knuckles versus Mecha Sonic. Alright.
Punch him in the face!
Indeed.
Well, is that actually how you kill him? That was a random guess.
No, he didn't actually have a punch button, just definitely. He should have.
So Knuckles, the hedgehog that was famous for having spiked knuckles.
Echidna.
What?
He's an echidna, not a hedgehog.
He's in the Sonic the Hedgehog games. Quite frankly, I'm referring...
Tails isn't a hedgehog, because...
Yeah, that's because Tails is just tail. I don't know. I don't know Sonic logic. It was a blue spiked hedgehog that ran around everywhere, spinning really fast. Quite frankly, that's not how bloody hedgehogs work. I'm getting told off because I don't know that Knuckles wasn't a hedgehog. I'm sorry if my teeny tiny brain cannot comprehend what the hell Knuckles was. He was a red dude with spiked knuckles. Quite frankly, he could have been Wolverine on a weird Halloween costume night.
Fair enough.
Anyway.
Basically plays out exactly how the Sonic boss fight for Mecha Sonic went. Only when you do kill him, well, you don't kill him. When you defeat him, he just stands there and sparks for a bit. His eyes light up red, and he zooms over to the next screen. He then proceeds to jump on the Master Emerald. But sparks are flying everywhere. Knuckles is just watching in bemused. But then he suddenly turns into a supersonic form. It's like, I presumably this is where I turn to Super Knuckles and home things? No?
Can Knuckles
Sega?
become Super Knuckles?
Yeah, he can become Hyper Knuckles.
Right. That makes sense. See, this is... Continue, please, while my brain comprehends this.
You sound incredibly infused.
No, I'm enthused. It's just the fact that my brain can comprehend most things. It has been confused by Sonic the Hedgehog, who apparently wasn't a real hedgehog.
No, he isn't.
Then why the hell was he called a hedgehog? Makes no sense.
He doesn't even look like a friggin' hedgehog.
No, because hedgehogs are small. Well, he is small, but he is spiky, but they're not blue. Unless you coat them in blue paint and hurl them in the Blue Man Group. Because I'm blue dabba dee bada bye. Oh, I messed that line up. Continue, please.
Right, I was at the point where Mecha Sonic went super. Yes.
Yes, were. Continue.
So basically, in Sonic's story, you are Supersonic fighting Eggman. In Knuckles' story, you are plain old Knuckles fighting Supersonic, who happens to be invincible. So that's very fair. I mean, he's just zooming around the screen, shooting fireballs and whatnot, which would seem like a pretty basic boss fight, but for some reason, it just plants a... I'm awake again.
You're awake, yes. Come on, wake up.
I'll just go to the boss fight and go to the sentimentality later.
Yes.
Let's
not be drawn in by nostalgia. Let's not be drawn in, because if we draw in by nostalgia, it'll turn into last episode that we all did, where we both sat there and going, can you remember that day when music was this and films were this? And then we'll just cry because the world isn't what it used to be.
This would be a lot more interesting with another guest, I have to say.
Well, we do have another guest. We have the voices in my head, and
please invite them to join.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Yeah. I didn't mean to drop. Adam, you were not stating before that the whole sort doesn't even look like a hedgehog and all that jazz.
Yes.
Let me give you a little history lesson. If you followed the comics before the original story like I did, Sonic used to be like a brown hedgehog in the past.
Oh, not the
when Dr. Robotnik was a man known by Professor Kinterball. And Professor Kinterball was doing some experiments involving the Chaos Emeralds. Sonic the Hedgehog agreed to be part of the experiment, and a part of the experiment was Kinterball giving him these shoes, which are supposed to increase speed. So Sonic started running on this, I suppose, hamster wheel, if you will. And the Chaos Emeralds were plugged to this device. The problem was, he was going too fast. The machine shorted out, and with the power of the Chaos Emeralds combined, there was a massive explosion. This explosion, and the power of the Chaos Emeralds that was being radiated out, transformed Sonic into the blue super speeding Sonic that we now know, who's now naturally fast. And it also turned Ivor Kinterball into his exact opposite, which is Dr. Robotnik, which is Kinterball spelled backwards. So where he was once a very thin, very good scientist, he was now a very evil, very fat scientist who essentially just became evil because of the power of the Chaos Emeralds. In a sense, in D&D terms, you could say it changed his alignment. And that's how Sonic and Robotnik came to be.
Canon.
This is why
Sally.
This is why we have producer engineers, because I mess up a lot when we talk about Sonic the Hedgehog or games, because I never really played when I was young.
Well, in fairness, I'm 25. I grew up on Sonic the Hedgehog games and Sonic the comics. But yes, that's all I wanted to say. Bye, guys.
Okay then. Now that I've been set straight, are there any other boss battles that you would kind of like to talk about?
Might as well be.
Because I remember playing I remember playing Resident Evil 5, and Wesker, he wasn't exactly a good boss fight. He was funny because it was in the parts. I think it would have been good had it not been for quick times. The problem with Sonic nowadays is Sonic, when it first came out, was new and it might have been insanely good. And it was that it's now that they're doing everything they can to bring it back, and it's just like, Sonic, no, just leave him. He's okay now. He's retired. He's sleeping. He's having a nap. Don't wake him up. It's that kind of thing. I mean, there's only so much you can do with Sonic the Hedgehog, and they've already done it all.
Yeah, I will admit that Sega have made several botch attempts to bring him back. But he's going to keep going for a few more years, then he'll probably die out. That's what I think.
I think he's already died out. I mean...
Nah.
There's not... I mean, let's face it, what have they done to him? They turned him into a werehog, which... Oh, that went well, didn't it?
Good for me.
It did for you, but when it came out, I was just going, really? Really, a werehog? Come on.
Sure, it's not the most imaginative thing they could have done.
No, but it also
they could have just put Shadow in it.
Yeah, but they tried giving Shadow the Hedgehog his own game, and that turned out well. Oh, wait, no, it didn't. That game sucked.
It didn't, you?
I played that game, and I hated every minute of it. I couldn't understand any of it. I was going like, why am I a hedgehog? Why have I got a submachine gun? Why am I running down the street into soldiers who belong in a bloody Fear game?
Yeah, that just didn't feel like a Sonic game.
No, it felt like they were trying to be hip and trying to stay with like the growing age, and it just didn't work for them.
But we discussed this in my last appearance.
Yes,
Let's not go into this any further.
We discussed all of the nostalgia. No, I've played a fair few games with good boss battles, but I mean, like, I'm trying to think, because I've played a fair few good games that had really good boss battles. Assassin's Creed, that's a good one. When you have to eventually kill the Pope.
Yes, I think
that amused me for 3 different reasons. 1, I got to kill the second Pope. That was funny. 2, I got to do it with a magical device of explodiness. And 3, I got to hold the Pope and punch him in the face repeatedly until he literally could not get up and fight me anymore. Now, I'm not saying I have anything against the Pope. Well, I'm not saying it now. I'll probably say it in 2 seconds. I have something against the Pope. But mainly because I like morals and ethics, and he apparently doesn't. Anyway, I digress. Let's not get into religion. That's not good.
No.
If we get into religion, we will be here all day, and I guarantee it will not go well for either of us, because it just won't. As I was saying, it's that... I think boss battles nowadays are a lot more kind of... You see the glowy light, you shoot the light. I think boss battles have kind of been, like, dumbed down for people. You know what I mean? I mean, if you compare boss battles in old games to boss battles now, it is this kind of thing of, it does seem like it's been dumbed down a bit.
It's gone from ingenious game ideas to, oh look, it's a monster, let's shoot it.
Yeah,
That's about it.
I prefer, in games, if there's a boss battle, I mean, I know it annoys people, there's a fine line, but I always like, when you're kind of sitting there going, okay, I have no idea how to kill this thing. There is a line, I mean, the line, I think, is trial and error. Or, for better yet, noob killing. It's a horrible thing in games, where you know they'll have no experience, so you exploit that.
Oh, yes.
To a point in which, like, there's a guy on YouTube, Halloween4545, which we plugged last show, who does it best in his Cry of Fear game. In where, he's in this corridor, and he's... spoilers. He's in a corridor and he's running round, and the thing is, if you take the wrong turn, you die straight away. That is the line.
Corridor is a boss.
Yes, there is a... Well, he's being chased by a chainsaw dude. There is the line. There is the kind of idea of you don't know how to kill it, so you have to keep trying. And then there's, this is the corridor, you make one wrong turn, you're going to die. I mean, it's going back Resident Evil 5, Chainsaw Guy. He's awesome. Because when he came out, the first time I ever played Resident Evil 5 was a demo, where you had no guns. You had a pistol and a machine gun, that was it. If you were lucky...
guns.
If you were lucky, you found a shotgun, but you had no, like, really powerful ones. So you were kind of running around just going, how do I kill it? 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 Then when I played Resident Evil 5 later on and actually got the game, and I unlocked the infinite ammo magnum, it came more of a, like, really? Dude, you think you can still beat me? I have a gun that can put down Wesker in 2 shots. How the hell are you going to fare up against it? Just bang. That was boring. I killed you. Don't get me wrong, the infinite ammo in Resident Evil 5 comes in handy, but damn, it takes a lot of the fun out of the boss battles.
Yeah,
anyway,
a lot of
I digress. There are games, however, that don't really have boss battles anymore. I mean, a good example is, I know you don't like shooters, so you won't play it, but Black Ops, Call of Duty Black Ops.
Yeah.
I know you won't have played it because you're not against shooting games, but basically the last level is you get out of this chair, you go out into the world, and you kind of stop this massive death war thing from happening. And it's really anticlimactic from what I can remember. It's just you running around the level shooting people like always. That's all I can really remember of it. I mean, I remember in Modern Warfare 2, the last boss battle is pretty good, actually. I mean, you don't get to fight them. Really, you shoot them a bit, you get knocked unconscious, and then you have to throw a knife at them, which is pretty cool, but it's a bit anticlimactic as well.
Yeah, most modern boss battles are pretty overhyped. I can think of an example in Fable 2.
Oh god, Fable 2. I remember, I can't remember if it was me or Steven that bought that game, because I bought Fable 1.
Oh dear.
I thought Fable, I bought Fable 2, that's the first game. And I thought Fable 2, well, when it first came out on the original Xbox, was a good game. I remember playing that, and I liked it. If memory serves, I played it at a friend of mine's house. Yeah, Bruce is telling me that I bought 2, he bought 3. And I remember playing Fable 2 and just going, how do you go from like the original failure of a good game to this? Just how do you do that? It was such a bad game.
And back to the boss battle.
Yeah, the boss battle, sorry, continue.
Inverted commas.
By the way, you only have 9 minutes left.
Curtis, what have you done?
We've somehow been talking about this for 21 minutes. Explain that.
Anyway, but at the end of Fable 2, you basically went up to the guy who's just basically the main villain. And he basically fits all the requirements for a boss. I mean, he's been there throughout the entire game. He's the guy, well, to put it bluntly, you want to kill him.
Yeah.
So you come to him, and you have this strange music box, I think it is. Mm-hmm. It just weakens him or something. And then afterwards he's like, this is not over. And then what you do to kill him, shoot him. That is it.
Yeah, it's like...
And if you don't shoot him, someone else does it for you.
The idea about the whole... The idea of weakening him then shooting him works for Superman. Works for Superman. You have to weaken him with kryptonite and then shoot him with a pencil. But really, for Fable, I mean, I reckon, like, Fable 3, I was running around with a hammer and a... I don't know why I had a rifle, but I had a rifle. I was running around. Anyway, I remember just picking up like a hammer and just running at these enemies and just punching them in the face with it. I don't know how you punch someone in the face with a hammer, but I somehow managed it.
One of those.
No, I almost started singing the song. No, I mean, we only have 7 minutes left, so we have to talk about, like, the different aspects of games that you want to talk about, if there are any.
Oh, well, the other one I was going to talk about is the holy crap moments.
Oh god, is that holy crap or WTF?
Whatever you want.
WTF.
You can put WTF in the description.
Yeah, I will. We'll call it the WTF moments.
Right. We might as well start with Portal 2.
Portal 2, oh yes. I love this game. Let's go ahead.
Yeah. There's a reason it's that Game of the Year.
Yeah, and it's mainly because it's one of the only good games that's come out over the past few years.
Yeah. No. Basically, what I'm going to be talking about is, you can probably guess, basically the whole ending of Chapter 5.
Is that where Wheatley goes a bit insane?
Just a tad, yes.
Just a tad, yeah.
Basically, you finally, well, you don't really realise, but you portal yourself over to this little alcove, which you can't actually portal out of, and there's a door. It says, emergency GLaDOS shutdown room and cake dispenser. Do not open.
Oh, indeed, I
unlocked or something. But you go to it, it falls down. It's a cardboard cutout. And GLaDOS is like if I'd known you'd got captured this easily, I would have just dangled a turkey leg from a ceiling or something like that. She brings you into a chamber of death, and she drops a load of turrets. Of course, you've dealt with all these earlier, so they just explode immediately.
Yeah.
You think, turrets don't work. Neurotoxin. Wheatley rolls in. Hello. I hate you so much.
I hate you. It's such a beautiful moment.
I know. It's their voice. Which you would have thought I would be able to do, but I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, basically, you try to replace GLaDOS with Wheatley by pressing the stalemate button, which I think is probably the most fun way to kill GLaDOS. How do I do this? Push the stalemate button. Of course. Anyway, Wheatley now becomes GLaDOS, and it brings down the elevator to the surface. And given the length of the previous Portal game, which was very short, you think, this is the end of the game. Hooray!
Yeah.
And the elevator starts going up to the surface, but Wheatley's like, actually, why do we have to go now? It's like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. And
you've just put Stephen Merchant in charge of science facilities.
Not a good idea.
Yeah.
He now goes a bit power crazy. So, I've lost myself. GLaDOS makes some snide comment, and then Wheatley proceeds to turn her into a potato.
Yes, leading to the best part of my favourite part of the entire game, when they're falling down the tunnel. It's just like, how are you? Oh, good, because I'm a potato, and it just abuses me.
Beautiful line.
Indeed.
Yeah, just that moment, turning GLaDOS into a potato, finding out he is a spoilers, personality core that was attached to GLaDOS with the express purpose of thinking of stupid, unworkable ideas, leading to my other favourite line, you're not just a moron, you were designed to be a moron.
Yeah, you are designed to be a moron. It was kind of I think if there ever was any form of deity, which I do not believe in, I don't think there's a deity out there, but I reckon that is what he will say to certain people on the day of reckoning. Just, you were designed to be a moron. That would explain it.
That would explain a lot of things in this life.
It would indeed. It would explain a fair few things. We have 3 minutes left.
Right, let's think of another WTF moment.
Off the top of my head, I can think of a game that is just a WTF game.
Name it?
Dead Rising.
No, I haven't played that.
You haven't played it? Let me explain.
I don't do zombies.
The basic idea is you're stuck in like a mall, or what's the best way to term it? A shopping centre for us British folk.
Right.
You're in it or English, depending on which. I'm just shortening it down to the entire place, right? You're stuck in a hole, and there are zombies invading, and you have to kill them. Yeah, like, you can use anything around you for killing zombies. It's a beautiful concept. Like, you can walk into, like, a music shop, buy CD, or pick up CDs and just throw, like, shurikens.
Buying CDs would be a little laid back.
Yeah. You can do it. And it's true. Because you anything as a weapon, it gives
Staircases.
What?
Staircases.
Yeah.
Kitchen sinks.
Yeah. You can actually use kitchen sinks. Luckily, you find a hunting store at one point. That's helpful. You just pick up a rifle, just... Alright, bang, bang.
Does that game actually end?
Yes, it does. It has three different... You have the 72-hour mode, survival mode, and they brought out an extension called Overtime. It's pretty cool. 72-hour mode, you've got to survive 3 days. Now, I like 4 different endings, maybe 5. It's that kind of thing of... if you want... This game is weird. It does give you the choice between what you do. You can, if you so choose, just sit in a cupboard and wait. That's what you can literally do. That you can sit in a cupboard and wait and do nothing for 3 days, and then just run up to the helicopter pad and get picked up. I'd like to point out we only have 58 seconds left. So
How did 8? Good grief!
Yeah, we've actually managed to talk about this for half an hour. We're coming up to
It was originally meant to be 20 minutes.
Yeah, I know. This is it. But like I said,
can't talk about anything else now.
Yeah, well, I have half an hour talking about freedom as a concept, so I'm pretty sure. Alright, you've got 30 seconds, you might want to wrap up the subject.
Right. Boss battles. Well, there are a load of things that make up a good boss battle. A lot of games do try to incorporate these sort of things, and I'll give them credit for that, but sometimes it just gets too repetitive. It just resort to, oh, there's a weak spot, kill it. Explosions, you win. Basically, older games were better. That'll do.
That's the international sound for you're out of time, my friend. International, I should mean interdimensional, or intergalactical, or interplanetal, or intersparkle, something. It basically means your time's up.
I figured that, yeah.
1 second. Sorry, just looking at funny pictures whilst I'm talking to you. Right. I do it's my turn. And my rant is on a bit more of a broad topic. I'm talking about freedom. I only have half an hour. And I'll see what I can come up with in half an hour to talk about freedom.
Going well so far.
What?
Going well so far.
It's going well so far. Bearing in mind I only have one. We only have like one guest, which is very special. Jack, you're the one guest this week. I'm pretty sure when I next see you, I shall reward you with chocolate. Right.
You still owe me chocolate.
I know I still owe you chocolate. I'm very well aware. And the owner is not happy. There are tablets on there or something.
I hear hyenas.
That's not a hyena, that's my dog. My dog sounds like a hyena. And he's now running backwards and forwards from a fence to a wall. Anyway, I have my notes here, so I'm going to start talking about freedom. And I'm going to count down from 3 seconds once I close the door. There we go. Right. So, 3 in... Actually, no, Jack, since I'm doing the rant, why don't you count me down for 3 seconds?
3, 2, 1.
Okay, and ladies and gentlemen, we'll go on here, and I'm talking about freedom. Now, the title of the rant being freedom, it gives across a weird idea. I mean, freedom is a broad topic. Well, it is. Freedom is that thing that allows me and you and everyone listening to say what we want whenever we want to. I mean, freedom is a brilliant concept, is it not? It's freedom that allows me to say this. In a fair few contexts, I actually prefer America to England. I guarantee if I said that in the middle of my school, I would have at least 30 people descend upon me with a vengeance. Because my school are full of good people and some silly ones, but I digress. Yes, it's considered unpatriotic to say that, or patriotic, whichever the pronunciation is, but here's the thing. America has their constitution and all that stuff, and I love the First Amendment, which is, I might be paraphrasing here, but this is the definition this is the quote I got. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. It's very long-winded, and I'm not quite sure what some of those words mean, but if you think about it, it basically boils down to this. No law can be made to stop people from saying what they want about whatever they want. That law makes us equal. By that I mean this. It puts us in a situation where no one can claim they can't be insulted or shouldn't be insulted. If we have a world where everybody can say what they want about everyone else, no one is better than another person. Think about that. No one would be above scrutiny, and therefore, on a basic level, we would be equal. And isn't that what people claim to be working for? Equality. Yet they wish to accomplish this by protecting people from speech, saying that some unproven fairy tale as God gives them superiority, and therefore they're not allowed to be criticised. I know
we weren't talking about religion here.
I know, I wasn't meant to be talking about religion, but it's the best way I can put across a point. See, it turns out whenever I have an issue with freedom or an issue with equality, religion seems to be the best way to put across my point. Maybe it's because they screw it all up. I do apologize. I'm not trying to offend. Well, screw offending anyone. Stephen covered that, but I'm not trying to upset anyone. I digress. They call it blasphemy mainly. But because of this, other religions ask why they are allowed to be criticised when another isn't. Then the equality is messed up, and suddenly you're in an issue of discrimination. People are grown-ups nowadays. They can choose what they listen to and what they don't listen to. If you are listening to this show right now, bless you. Thank you for listening. I know it's not exactly been the most funny show in the world. Not when we have one guest and we're talking about gaming. Quite frankly, when we talk about gaming, we aren't exactly enthusiastic. Because me and Jack, we have a problem with gaming nowadays. Mainly that it sucks. But it's like I think they have a right to choose what they listen to, what is said in what they listen to. You can't take away that right because one group wants it to be gone. That's not protecting anyone. That's being arrogant. That is saying that your rights outweigh the rights of everyone else, and that's not true. At the end of the day, being insulted and having our egos bashed brings us all down to the same level. Freedom of speech is one of the only ways to equality that I can see. And yes, there are drawbacks which I will freely admit. Racists and homophobes will be allowed to spread their message of hate. But we have to hope that maybe, just maybe, people will be sensible and see the truth. I mean, here's the thing, Jack, right? I want to ask you a genuine question here. If you were out in the street and you saw a man on a podium sprouting that, I don't believe this, but sprouting that gay people were bad, were wrong and bad and immoral, would you in any way, shape or form agree with him?
No.
Okay, so you could hear that and you could stick to your morals.
Yep, well, those little I have.
Well, you could. I mean, if someone came up to me and turned around and said, I don't know, off the top of my head, that people from, let's go, people from Scotland, let's go for that. People from Scotland shouldn't be allowed to leave our country, our bloody empire, or whatever you want to call it, because They are fundamentally bad people. I don't agree with this at all. I love Scottish people. They are brilliant. Their accent alone sells it for me. But the fact that they are best known for good poetry and stuff like that, and a fair few good poets, battles mainly, whiskey, it's all of these things combined that make me love them so flippin' much. And because the inspector was Scottish in the play that we went to see. Oh, hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
I digress.
I missed that.
Yeah, but I can hear all of this, and I can stay to my morals, because what I believe is what I believe. You can say whatever you like to me. If you prove that I'm wrong, I will believe whatever is the alternative. I don't have faith in things. I have knowledge in things that requires me to believe. Faith is firm belief without any logical proof. I need things to be proven to me before I agree with them. People often say, you can't see the breeze, but you know it's there. That's faith. Well, no, it's not, because I can feel the breeze. Here's the thing. I can't see God. I can't feel God, so I'm not going to think that he's there. It's like this. Someone once asked, and I can't remember who it was, and God, I hate coming up with something and then not remembering who said it originally. But it was a question about existential ideas, and that things maybe don't exist when you're not looking at them, or something along those lines, where if you turn your back on a tree, is the tree still there? And this was meant to be some kind of Zen riddle and all that stuff, and I went, simple answer, put your hand on the tree before you turn around. If you could still feel the tree, guess what, the tree's still there. The producer, Stephen, the breeze is a physical... Stephen just said this, the breeze is a physical force that we can feel and witness through our sense of touch and scientific method. Indeed. So, religious people, please stop using that as an analogy. It doesn't work for you. Because what we've done is we've grown up with logic. And we like to use this logic as almost like a vacuum cleaner. And when you bring us an argument, we would go, okay then. We turn on the logic, point it, and just suck away all the crap. And then we go, right, well, it would appear you're left with nothing. Well done, go try again. It's that kind of stuff. Again, I keep talking about religion. I'm not meant to be talking about freedom. Where was I? Yes. Maybe people will be sensible and say the truth. Either way, people have to have the right to say whatever we want. It's fundamental. I mean, if you can't say what you want, you are censored. And that means there is someone who believes they know what you should be saying more than you know what you're saying.
That's where all the Soper tape came from.
Yeah, Soper and Pippa and Actor. Look, I agree. Internet piracy, you should, on some level, be cut down. It can hurt the economy, etc., etc., etc. But the minute you try to censor people, that doesn't work. You can't censor people. It's wrong. There is no one who knows better, you know what is good for you. On a basic level, you know that there are certain things you shouldn't say around certain people. Doesn't mean you can't say them, just means you probably shouldn't. I'm one for picking and choosing when you say things. If I walk into a room of Twilight fans, I now know not to go, Edward Cullen sucks. Because, one, I will probably upset them. And two, I will probably be killed with naught but, sparkles and fake vampire fangs. Incidentally, Twilight sucks, Edward Cullen sucks, and Bella Swan is the single largest setback to feminism since the sandwich.
Cue 100 dislikes.
I reckon... Well, we've insulted Twilight fans before. I mean, it was what I talked about last episode we wrote on. But yeah, it's that kind of thing. I mean, freedom is a fundamental right that we all have. I mean, as babies, we said what the hell we wanted whenever we wanted because we didn't know any better. It was awesome. It was like, I'm a baby. I can say whatever I want.
I want to say, I would like to see what would happen if a baby's first word was the F word. Would their parents try to stop them saying it?
I would hope not. I don't see any problem with swearing, to be honest. I mean, granted, there's a time and a place, but swearing isn't really like anything, to be honest. I mean, think about it this way: a word is just a series of sounds in sentence. I mean, like flower. It's flower. That's all it is. It's a set of words.
Giving me an English lesson now.
What?
Giving me an English lesson now.
I'm giving everyone an English lesson. But it's the kind of idea that it's all just like a set of words. So how is it that one set of like sounds is more offensive than another? I mean, if I said, forgetting, boop, boop is a sound. It's not offensive. It's not upsetting. It's boop. It's random noise.
Boop.
Boop. Yeah, just say it. I mean, say it. Next time you want to swear, go to someone and say, boop, for no reason, just boop, 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 boop. So you just say how long you can do it before someone goes, what the hell are you doing? Because it's not what you say, it's why you say it. Like, I mean, yeah. I mean, think about it this way, right? If you are talking to someone, and it's an analogy I'd like to use, but I can't use because it requires me to swear, and I don't like swearing when I know there are people around that don't like swearing.
I can do it.
Yes, I know you can, Stephen. It's if you could kindly recite the basic idea of the cooking analogy.
Yes, this is one I tend to use. Basically,
Hey, what's it? Jack, are you wearing headphones?
I should
Yeah,
probably
you might
plug
want
them
some
in.
you might want some headphones.
Summon me when it is time for swearing.
Boop.
Aha.
Yeah, have you got headphones?
In my ear.
Right. So, shall I explain this analogy to you?
Uh-huh.
Right, here it is. Say you've just cooked someone like a cake or some form of food, right? And I give you one of two possible responses. I could either go, that was the dog's bollocks. Or I could turn around and say, that was the worst thing I've ever tasted in my life. Which one are you going to be more offended by? The dog's bollocks, because even though it's a compliment, I used a swear word? Or are you going to be more offended by the fact that I said that, okay, it was the worst thing I've ever tasted in my life? Context, people. Context.
Thank you.
Poop.
Boop. Boop. See, boop is a funny noise.
Okay,
It's
a meme.
But if I went up to someone and said, hey, you know what?
You do that a lot.
Boop. I say honk when I get, I go, hey, guess what? Honk. So yeah, it's that kind of idea. But you know that kind of thing. Profanity as a rule, I mean, I'm talking about freedom of speech, and I should probably talk about freedom of action as well.
We've got 15 minutes.
I know we have 15 minutes. And the funny thing is, we also have another guest joining us.
We do?
Yes. Can you remember how I said one guest had to be called away on, like, short notice?
I vaguely remember, yes.
Yeah. Yes, well, they say, like, it might be able to come on for, like, a short period of time.
That'll be helpful.
It would be helpful, bearing in mind I have, like, oh god, what? I have 15 minutes left. And I may have to cut this one short and give them a chance to talk, and then I'll just pick up on this later. I have no problem doing that.
Righto.
So then, I'm going to add them to this wonderful call, and then I'm going to let them talk. Sweet Lord Jesus, save us all. This is going to be a bumpy ride.
Drum roll, please.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Okay, then. Jack.
Hi.
We have a John. Stephen. Good look at editing this. Right, what are you going to be talking about today?
Oh, me?
Yes, I'm talking to you on this. I'm talking to you on this case.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm ranting about the stereotypes on girl gamers and basically just gamers for girls in general.
Oh, you
gaming.
and Jack are gonna get along like a house on fire, okay? I'm gonna give you 15 minutes on the clock, and when I say go, just start ranting about whatever you want.
Okay, hang on. Let me pull up the rant real quick.
Okay.
Because I kind of need to think about it. I just woke up like 5 minutes ago.
It's alright, I woke up at 11 in the morning, and I tried to prepare a rant. So, yeah, I'm gonna give you 15 minutes. I was in the middle of my rant, but don't worry, time at the end and all that.
Okay, I think I'm good to go.
Yeah, then, on the count of 3, 3, 2, 1, begin.
Okay, so here's the thing. You get these guys, and you just get these really stupid guys. They're all stereotyping chicks, and the chicks are gamer girls. I mean, they play video games just like you and me do. And they think that the girls that play these games are basically sex symbols. So, and that is entirely not true. They're not all the same, okay? They have categorized them in these sick categories that are just either they're sex symbols, or they're complete nerds, or they're just the stereotypical bimbo gamer girl, which I've been called. Just because you're happy does not mean you're a bimbo gamer girl. Well, like, for example, I was on Omegle, and I know Omegle fails, but, it was like 12 at night, and I was bored. So, I'm just talking to this chick about Skyrim, and it's like you can have chats with people over, like, things that you have in common with. And so I put in Skyrim. So we're talking, and I'm like, Stormcloaks for the win, and she's just like, yeah. And we're just, having a conversation about Stormcloaks and whatnot. I'm thinking it's going pretty well. Well, so she goes, okay, Khajiit here, and I'm just like, Britain, and after a while, she explains to me that I'm the stereotypical bimbo girl, and I'm like, can you just, kind of explain to me what that is? Because that's not very kind statement.
Yeah.
And, yeah, at the time, I was going to say some other choice words, but and then she told me that because I'm apparently annoying and because I make too many faces, like smiley faces and whatnot, I'm a stereotypical bimbo gamer girl. So apparently if you're happy, you get insulted.
Yeah.
And then, so I started thinking, what really is a stereotypical bimbo gamer girl? So I'm looking up all these websites, and it's like how to spot gamer girls, and how to date gamer girls, and how to do all this. And I'm like, so am I like a need speed something? And a need speed? Do you have to like look for me out in public? Okay, here's one of the things they tried to spot me as. They said that either they're all over Comic-Cons or anime cons or gaming cons. That part might just be true. I think that people that, that game are going to go to those places because it's something they like. But the things that came up where you can always spot them because they're wearing a gaming shirt. I'm sure you guys have bought a Mario t-shirt or a Skyrim t-shirt in your life, right? Yeah. Well, you're not going to wear it 24/7. So I don't see the point in how you try and spot me for that. Second of all, apparently I have to have black hair that goes about to my shoulder and, like, Buddy Holly rimmed glasses. Okay, no. I have curly blonde hair, and I don't have glasses, and so I don't understand how they got that. I don't even know. Apparently you have to have dark hair to play video games now, and that's just, well, in my opinion, that's kind of gay. And then, we're basic girls that play video games? Yeah, they basically are guys. They sit around, talk about how much they like games with their other friends. They have conversations about it, but they don't obsess about it. They don't. Trust me, I can play a game of Skyrim or Call of Duty for 6 to 7 hours in, but I do not do it every day. So those guys that think they can just come up to you and start quizzing you, like, oh my god, what happened on the 15th of July in 1998 while they were making the Call of Duty game? I don't freaking know. Really? You're gonna quiz me on this? I don't care. So why would I know? And then they start thinking you're an idiot just because you don't want to answer your stupid quizzes. Okay, so there's an old Xbox, not an Xbox, but like a gaming system called Sega.
Yes,
and
the Sega CD system.
Yeah.
CD or Genesis?
Or Genesis, yes, indeed.
Don't
worry. Don't worry. You're with your crowd. It's okay.
Yeah, they're all like, oh, I bet they don't even play Xbox and things like that.
Oh,
they don't even own it.
We forgot out the Mega Drive as well.
Yeah.
The Mega Drive was the Genesis.
What?
Except it was European.
Okay, so you get these guys, and they're just like, oh, I bet she doesn't even own an Xbox 360 or PS3. And I'm like, son, I owned a Sega. Do you even know what a Sega is? And they're just like, what? And I'm just like, yeah. Okay, name 3 games you could play on the old Xbox. Not the big Xbox, the big white one that ruined our generation.
Xbox 360.
Yeah, the black one, the old black one. Okay, play a couple of games. Name some that were popular in the 90s. Call of Duty? No. Okay, wait, or was that? I'm not sure. Okay, and then they're just naming off these games, and you're just like, no, that is not it. You're an idiot.
Yeah.
This is ruining my. This is just ruining all the fun, because if I go to an LAN and place and try to play games, I get stared at. Like, either I get stared at like I'm not good enough, or I get stared at like, oh my god, I want to get in her pants. No. Okay? Go away. I'm not going to go on a date with you just because I play video games.
I reckon it's this kind of... people have been brought up with the idea that gaming is something that it makes us all equal, and that it's a hobby and a pastime, which is fair enough, and it's things that people want to do together. The problem lies in where people are stereotyped because of it. I play games a fair bit when I'm bored. Like, I will play Call of Duty, or I'll play Resident Evil 5, or I'll even play the SmackDown vs. Raw games. And then, because I play that, I tend to find myself... I do talk about games with other people, like... they'll come, have you played this game? Yeah, what did you think of it? And all that kind of crap. But I don't think I've ever stereotyped someone because of it. I mean, I get annoyed with people who kind of... What's the term? I get annoyed with people who think you're strange or have a go at you because you don't own a certain game. That annoys me. I also get annoyed at people who are like, oh, this game's bloody better than all the other games. And I'm like, well, not really. I mean, it's not that good a game. But it's that kind of thing. Anyway.
I don't even know any gamer girl.
It just aggravates me so much.
I think the only game Jack plays from this era is Skyrim, to be fair. And maybe some of the newer Sonic games.
Sonic for the win.
Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic.
No.
Yes, Steven saying most of the girls he knows are gamers. But it's that kind of thing. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, game, just because you are a gamer girl does not mean you are a stereotypical gamer girl.
Right.
Like, for example, like, people at school give so many stereotypes. I mean, you're either a hipster, or you are scene, or you're emo, or you're goth, or you're rocker, or you're chav, or you're bloody Skrillex fan, whatever. I call them idiots. But and then you've got the loners, and then you've got like the jazz cats and all that kind of crap. And we're not. We're just humans that have our own individual style, and we get grouped together because people are sheep. People like knowing there are other people out there with the same interest because it's comforting. It's like, it's the opposite of forever alone. If you know there are people out there that have the same likes as you, well, you've got a group of friends that you can talk to. The problem is distinguishing between a group of people who share your interests and a stereotype. That's where the line should be drawn.
It just aggravates the crap out of me because we're either sex symbols or we're complete nerds. And I'm just like, that's not the case, okay? It's two totally different things. And we're not like fruit you can put in a container and put in a cabinet. It's not categorizing. It's just, we're just the same, okay? Don't think that you can just spot us on the street like we're leopards or something.
Yeah. Although to be fair, hang on, did you say leopard or leopard? Because I'm pretty sure if I was on the street and I saw a leopard, I wouldn't be going, well, I'm categorizing, and I'd be going, holy crap, a leopard? I'm running the hell away.
Right? We're not bold and out front like that. I mean, yeah, you get the people that go to cosplays and cosplay a lot, and then you get the people that go to gaming cons and go there a lot, and then the people that go to LANs. But we don't do everything, okay? I've gamed around guys before, but I've never been to an LAN center. I have one right across the river from where I am at, but I've never been there. And I probably don't think I ever will, because I'm probably going to get stared at like I'm weirdo. Oh, look, a 13-year-old little gamer girl. She thinks she's going to school me. Yeah, I am going to school you in Black Ops. Watch me. Like, seriously. We're just like you and a different gender. Just stop categorizing us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I understand the point in the basic need for categorizing. I mean, I understand why it happens. I just don't agree with it. It's like I also understand why capitalism, socialism exists. I just don't necessarily agree with everything that they encompass. I mean, I understand why religion exists. I definitely don't agree with it. It's that kind of deal.
And then they say that just because you don't play one game, it means you're not. Because I've never played World of Warcraft because it creeps me out. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons. I've played Mario.
Don't you be dissing Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons is
no, my dad used to play it, so I kind of know.
I remember. Yeah. I mean, Dungeons and Dragons it's a basic idea. It runs on the best computer out there, your brain, and the Dungeon Master's brain. I'm rolling my ass for some reason.
I've played Mario Kart, but I've never played straight up Mario. I don't own a DS, and I've never played Legend of Zelda because it just makes me mad.
Oh God, I hope Kai isn't listening to the show.
No, not all of us watch Pokemon. I know, like, Mudkip and then, like, Squirtle, I think that was his name. I don't even know. But no, okay? That does not mean that I'm not a gamer girl. Trust me.
See, I remember playing Pokemon, like Pokemon Diamond, and I just didn't like the game. It bored me. I was running around just going, okay, I understand why this is meant to be fun, but it's not.
It's kind of like an RPG for younger players.
Yeah, it's basically just running around catching tiny animals, which is... It just makes me feel weird. I don't want to catch an animal unless I can eat the damn thing. I will gladly go out and catch a cow if I can cook it and make it a steak.
And then my last thing I'm going to bring up, well, maybe like two last things. Okay.
I would like to find out you only have 2 minutes left.
Okay, well then I'll just...
Talk, woman, talk.
Okay, well, I don't know, I kind of covered this, but I didn't really explain the categories. Okay. These are the categories I've been put in. 1, either trying to be sexy, sex symbol, quotation. 2, trying to be hardcore. Oh yeah, I spend all my time playing video games. Rawr, I'm amazing. 3, trying to do a game just to look cool with your friends. 4, trying to have the same interests in their friends, even though they really don't like gaming. GTFO. 5, the over cosplayers, there's the over extreme nerds, otaku, desu, all that great, lovely Japan stuff.
Yeah.
And then, no, just no, just go away.
Yeah.
And then, lastly, apparently, if I'm a straight up gamer girl, I have to do this and I have to do that, and apparently, I have to spend all my time dedicated to a game. Okay? I am very social. I talk to friends. I talk to guys. I'm a nice person. I'm just social. Okay? I do not spend all my time playing Skyrim and playing this and playing that. I have a life. And Van Gogh didn't base his life around painting, and Madonna didn't base hers around music, and Brad Pitt did not base his around acting. We all look different, and we all can go different hours, and just because they can go long hours playing Skyrim and Call of Duty and whatnot does not mean we will. And scene.
Okay then. One problem. The people you listed did base their lives around the things you listed. That's why they do it.
Go away, Adam.
I would, but it's my show. And besides, you only have 40 seconds left of your topic, so when it gets down to 30, you might want to start wrapping up the entire topic as a basis. So yeah, you might want to summarise. Alright, I'll summarise for you then. Ladies and gentlemen, stereotypes shouldn't exist because they're more than likely wrong. Yes, people do it, fall into the crowd and be all popular and all that jazz, but I've never understood why. Popularity doesn't mean good. So, here's the basic deal. If you meet a gamer girl, don't instantly think she's either trying to be sexy or trying to be hardcore. Maybe she's just like a girl that likes to play games. That's the basic rule of it. We're all human, we should all get along. Thank you very much, and time is now up. I have to do the noise myself.
I will just quickly say, basically, stereotyping is the tool of the insecure to defend themselves from the trials of trying to learn about other cultures and learning how to accept them. It's a means of it's basically emotional mental propaganda for yourself to try and convince yourself that you are in the in group and that everyone else is in the out group, and it's a way of defending yourself against having to be social. Because it's easier to judge and castigate people for being different to whom you are, because then they become a source of entertainment and ridicule rather than something that you have to physically go out and deal with personally. Poop.
No, it's moop. It's boop. Not moop or poop, it's boop. B-O-O-P. Boop. Anyway. We would like to
continue your rant.
We would like to thank Jordan for popping on and giving us that spectacular rant. Oh, I've only got 15 minutes of my topic left, and we've had a bit of a break in between. But don't worry, weirder things have happened. Anyway, I believe I was on the topic freedom. I've restarted the count to 15 minutes, so I believe I was talking about freedom. And freedom is a wonderful idea, and it's the kind of thing that's necessary as a requirement for the world. I mean, as I say, it brings us all down to the same level and makes us all equal. And really, that's everything we all want. All we really want is for all of us to be happy, sparkly, live, however, and all that jazz. We want to live together in a peaceful world. That's it. None of us, apart from those retarded people who want, like, white supremacy, or think that their religion is better than another. Please, it's all fairy tales. Just stop it. Like, we all have our favourite books as a kid. Mine was Mr. Meadows' Muddles, you know, which incidentally is an awesome book. But that was my favourite book as a kid. If someone comes to me and says, well, my favourite book as a kid was Postman Pat, I'm not going to wage war on them. I will go, Postman Pat was your favourite story, was it? Yeah, good for you. I'm sure it put you to sleep at night. Mr. Meadows' Muddles put me to sleep at night. Aren't we all happy now? Good. Well done.
I just don't understand people who think that fighting is a means to peace and freedom.
Yeah, fighting for peace is a bit like having sex for virginity. That's the basic way. I mean, if you think of... I posted a poem on DeviantArt this morning, which was about war and the ethics and the morality of it. And in the comments I put, note, I have a great respect for the military. Yeah, we are the species that thinks fight fire with fire, but the idea is this. That's previous, by the way. I have great respect for members of the military. If you are willing to put your body and life on the line to save your loved ones and country, welcome. You can come to any country you want. You can join our country, stay in your country, whatever, because you are a good person. You are the kind of person who will defend everything you believe in. And that's a good thing. If you are willing to stand up and fight for what you think is right, then that's okay. All we have to worry about is what you think is right, really right? I will stand up and fight for freedom. I mean, it's the old phrase, I may not necessarily agree with what you say, but I will fight for your right to say it. I will fight for freedom. I fight for equality. there are many things in this life I can't abide that I hope I can help prevent in the future, namely domestic abuse, and I cannot abide people who do this kind of stuff to other people, and I cannot abide people who use emotional abuse, and so that, I mean, I have friends who've gone through it, and them telling me my story just breaks my heart. And I hope that one day I can try to help, and I hope, I can do my part, but these are the kind of things I fight to stop, and I will fight to defend these kind of things. People who will fight to defend their morality from homosexuality, or defend their religion from scrutiny, that isn't right. That's... Yes, well done, you have your freedom, you can say what you like about it, but it's still not something that's really right to fight for. It's just not. I mean, I believe I've talked about this before. If you wish to marry, have sex with, have a life with a member of the same gender, good on you. I'm proud of you. Well done. You are doing what you want in your life, and that is no one's business but your own. And anyone you tell that, if you announce it on a public forum, it's their business too, but it's that kind of thing. No one should stop you. Freedom of speech and freedom of action. You are allowed to do that kind of thing. And it's that kind of jazz, I guess I live in this random world where, I believe in all this equality and loveliness for people and jazz and like that. And I seem to be losing track of my words. If I do appear to be losing track of my words, it's because as I'm coming up with the words, my head is also going a bit mental. I've got a bit of a headache and a bit confused. So, that kind of thing. What the hell was I on about? Freedom, that was it.
Yeah, basically you were talking about how, I think what your basic point should be is that, yes, everybody has freedom of speech and the freedom of act within the law. It's the idea of one person's freedoms should not collide with the freedoms of another.
Yeah.
That's why things like homosexuality, provided that, say, someone I knew was homophobic and they were railing off against gay people, my response would be, as long as you don't have to sleep with them, surely you're fine.
Yeah.
Isn't that the point? I mean, if it's your sense of freedom versus theirs, their freedom does not impact on your freedom.
There are many places, there are many causes that we can blame for it. I mean, you've got certain political groups like the BNP or the English Defence League, aren't you? Bunch of clever clocks. No, wait, you're a bunch of people who, if other people don't have... I remember reading this and seeing it on the news. They were doing a rally, the English Defence League. If you don't know who they are, well done, you're lucky. The English Defence League, they did a rally because they were afraid of Muslims. Okay, hang on, I've got a message. But yeah, they were campaigning against allowing Muslims in the country and allowing people from the Middle East and all that jazz. And I know not everyone from the Middle East is a Muslim. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying that's what they were fighting against. And they got a guy for an interview, and he said they were scared of them bringing along their Muslimic law. Now, if you didn't know they were fools by the time he said Muslimic law, it got worse. He was scared we would all be speaking Muslim. He was scared that all women would have to wear veils. He was also scared of him losing his right to go against the Muslimic law. This kind of malarkey. Now, when this other group of people didn't turn up to have a brawl with them, they brawled amongst themselves. Just think about that. Really think about that for a minute, okay? In fact, you know what? I'm going to time a minute so you can all think about that. Do you know what? You probably don't need a minute. You can think about that just in, 10 seconds. I mean, come on. People didn't turn up to fight them, so they fought themselves.
That is the mark of a true bastard.
If that doesn't, turn you off the English Defence League, then you have problems. You have the BNP, and you have Nick Griffin. My God, that man is just... He looks like Satan's fried egg. It genuinely looks like a fried egg that Satan was making. And he dropped it on the floor and went, oh well, I'll send it up to Earth, they can deal with it, and just throw it away, you know? It's just that kind of thing. It's that thing, you know? I wish I could read what Stephen just said, but unfortunately I'm trying not to swear on the show. I know it's weird me saying, oh, I'm all up for, you know, not caring about profanity, and I believe profanity should be used, but I don't like using it in my house. That's just my preference. I'll use a boop noise instead of what the word was. If you have to be convinced to not like the EDL in the first place, that is a mark of a boop. So yeah. I digress. And
I have to say...
Yeah, continue.
Oh, okay. I have to say that, but the sad thing is that if everyone put their minds to it, we could be in that perfect world where everyone was free to do what they like. But because some people just can't get their heads around everyone being nice, then we're stuck like this.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
It's like, I mean, you can't just blame politics and all that jazz. I mean, some people were brought up in that kind of thing, you know? Some people were brought up to think that way, and it is that kind of thing, and you've got to wonder where that thought process came from and all that jazz, but I digress. I mean, I'm not going to talk about religion, or at least I'm trying my very best not to.
You have mentioned it several times.
Yeah, I'm going to have to again, because sadly, some of the problem comes from religion. Is why. I'm going to quote Marcus Brigstock here. Religion, the relationship between religion and war is a bit like the relationship between ant and deck. You could have one without the other, but frankly, no one would see the point. It's like an idea. You need a reason to fight, and a fair few times it's because of religion. It's that kind of thing of a, you know, there are two basic things people fight for: resources and religion. And it's this kind of fighting that gets us to the point where we are now, where people don't like other people from different races, people with different religions. That's where freedom of speech comes from. If we cannot say to other people, I think you are wrong, and I think that, you know, this is silly, and this is silly, and that's wrong. If you do that, right, then if you can't do that, then you can't do that to anyone else, and suddenly you're censored. That kind of thing. And maybe it's because I live in a world where I would love people to just grow up and deal with the fact that you're going to get insulted. We're grown-ups. You're going to get insulted. Yes, it's not exactly lovely when it happens, but it's a part of life. When I walk into school, I will get insulted within the first 10 minutes of me being there. You see what I mean? I accept it because I've grown up. And I know that when they're insulting me, I just turn and go, really? That's the best you've got? And then I go about my day. I don't complain about, well, I do complain about it some days, but you know. It's that kind of thing. I mean, I accept that they can't say it because they're right.
The difference comes in where it's about, there's a freedom of speech, but freedom of speech also protects your right to the truth. It's when people are being, when people are being libelous, they're being, slanderous is the term I'm looking for. It's when they spur out things which aren't true. Making personal comments about yourself that are designed to annoy you is one thing. It's when it's either a deliberate attack on a potentially harmful level, or it is completely slanderous. That's when, you know, the censorship kind of idea comes in. It's not the prevention of free speech, it is the protection of the individual's right to the truth.
Yeah.
So, which is why I agree with some levels of censorship, but I don't agree with, not sanctions. It's what the courts, a lot of celebrities fucking... Is it sanction? I don't think it's sanction. Although I've heard that word too many times.
Injunction?
But injunction, that's the word.
Oh,
yeah, so I disagree with them, because that's to cover up truth. But when it comes to... There are certain things which should be censored, which is fair enough. So I think it comes down to whether it's truthful or not.
Yeah.
As well.
Well, I suppose, I mean... It's that kind of idea. I mean, but people, if we can all, like, just allow others, right, to say what they want about religion and politics and other people, as long as it's true, as long as it has an basic logic and proof behind it. Say what you like. If you're deliberately able to hurt someone, well, you're a douchebag. And it's that kind of thing. I mean, as Steven says, there are certain situations where maybe you should watch what you're saying. It's all about time and place, if you ask me.
Do you know why we don't have world peace?
Why?
We don't want it.
Ah.
And if anyone starts jumping on the case and say, oh, that's bullshit, it's like, really think about it. Think of how peace would affect world economies. Arms dealers, military, all that government spending, all the soldiers that would be out of work. Bearing in mind that countries don't necessarily do deals within themselves. They often do dealings with arms dealers, kind of the black market style. It's not conspiracy ramblings either. It's not like one conspiracy. It's just facts of life. Countries often hire out to other arms dealers who are willing and can make certain weaponry, better weaponry, that gives them the edge in combat. Not only that, but for in order to have a world of peace, everyone has to agree to the same kind of principles, even if that principle is solely that others have their own principles. And countries like America, China pretty much just keep themselves to themselves. And I'm not a big fan of China given their laws, but they kind of keep their shit out of anybody else's shit. In fact, they pride themselves on keeping, their people away from other people's policies and keeping other people away from their policies. Then you try telling America that, number one, they're not the best country in the world, and two, they have no right telling other country what to do, and the first thing you'll get is a mouthful of bullshit. So, yeah, we don't want world peace. We don't want it in the slightest. What we want is control. We want everyone to do things the way we feel they should be done. And it's even visible on a basic level. I mean, how many times have you thought yourself, God, if they would only just listen to us? We don't want peace. We want control. We want people to do things our way. But the problem is, everybody wants us to do it that way. Therefore, we don't want world peace.
Oh.
We think we can have world peace if everyone listened to us. But we don't.
Yeah. Well, we've actually run out of time. And since all the rounds are done...
Well, why don't you sum up your point?
Yeah, I was going to say, so as a sum up, freedom of speech is a lovely idea. There are times where self-censorship should happen. But censorship as a general, as an entirety, censoring everything is a very bad idea, and it takes away our basic right to freedom. Freedom's a glorious thing, and it makes us pretty much all equal. So that's basically my sum up. Now, we have very little time left, so here's what we're going to do. What have we learned today, ladies and gentlemen?
We've learned that you know absolutely nothing about Sonic the Hedgehog.
Indeed I don't, because... Yeah. Sonic.
We've learned that not all gamer girls are as they seem.
Indeed.
In fact, chances are you'll not actually spot a gamer girl.
Yep.
We've learned that you should always have an extra guest on Shout. Or it gets rather boring.
Well...
We've also learned that, people don't want world peace.
Yeah.
They just want ice cream, I think. I think that's what everybody wants, really, deep down.
And what we're about to learn is the fact that if you want to, you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter at the Lone Walker 1, or on Facebook at the Shout page that I'm currently constructing.
Awesome stuff.
Jack, I don't think you have a do you have a Twitter?
You made me one.
Indeed I did. Okay then. So, what's your Twitter?
Guthix the Judge.
At Guthix the Judge.
And next week I'll be hosting the show, where my guests will be American recording artist Taylor Sanford, previous guest Kai Shepherd, and first time to the show Paul Brackett. So this is actually going to be quite cool. Yeah, it's going to be an episode without Dan. Oh my fucking god!
I know.
And you can also follow me on Twitter at SteveJohn313, and you can follow all the Shout episodes either by Blip TV at blip.tv/WanderingAngel. You can follow one of our 2 YouTube accounts, where you've got youtube.com/user/The Wandering Angel, or a specific YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/user/Shout the Show. Indeed.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much all it for today. I'd like to thank Jack.
Jack the Humidifier.
Oh, sorry, were you talking to me?
Yes. I'd like to thank
the ever classic gentleman.
I'd like to thank Jack. I would like to thank Jordan for coming on the show briefly. I'd like to thank Stephen for his inputs. And
I am one half of the producing team. So.
Yes, I would also like to thank my parents for the genetics.
I'd like to thank the Academy.
Wait, wrong show.
No, I'd like to thank the Academy. I'd like to thank my music teacher. She couldn't be with us today. So that's a shame.
Yeah.
She's not dead. She's just lazy.
Yeah. Right.
I'd like to thank Elvis. I'd like to thank Tobey Maguire. I'd like to thank Ray Charles. Charles Xavier.
I reckon what we should probably do.
Dan the Geek King Anston.
Jack, here's what we should do. We should probably just start singing "What Is Love, Baby, Don't Hurt Me" and drown him out.
Oh dear.
Because that's how we should all end up.
I'd like to thank Eric on Jisme, and the D is silent. I'd like to thank the silent D for being silent.
Baby, don't hurt me.
I'd like to thank John F. Kennedy.
No more.
I'd like to thank William Shakespeare.
Baby, don't hurt me.
Don LaFontaine.
Don't hurt me. No.
I'd like to thank every single member of the YMCA.
Okay, Steven, you're gonna want to stop talking now. You're gonna stop talking now.